Hi guys, this is Sadeh from Dwarven.com, and in this video we'll show you how to flash the IODay OS ROM based on Android 14 on any Samsung phone. So IODay OS is the Google ROM wherein there is no Google apps and packages whatsoever. Instead of that, you will get their open source options, so you could easily install the required apps at the setup screen and skip the app that you don't want. There will be no Google app packages or framework. All of them will have an open source alternative. So with that said, currently our focus is on the Samsung phone, and as you might be aware, as opposed to all the other Android phone in which you have to flash the VVB meta file in fastboot mode and then you will flash the GSI in the fastboot D mode, this method does not work in Samsung phone. In case of Samsung, you will have to take a different approach, and in this video I'll show you how to get that job done. So please take a backup of all the data on your phone and then let's get started. First and foremost, you will have to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do note that unlocking the bootloader will wipe off all the data and it might make the warranty null and void as well. Moreover, in case of Samsung, the Knox will be tripped as well, and Knox is a hardware component which is embedded in the motherboard. So once you unlock the bootloader, then there is no going back and you will have to face the issues such as this Samsung Pay and all such apps not working. That will remain there even if you relock it. So if that is well and good and you are ready to proceed ahead, then what you have to do is simply enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking on your phone. Once that is done, you will then have to move your phone to the download mode, and once you are inside the download mode, long press the volume up keys and you will then get a prompt, a warning sign. So again press the volume up key and then your phone will go into device unlock mode and the bootloader will be unlocked. After that, your phone will boot to the OS. So connect your phone to the online Wi-Fi and then go to the developer option and make sure that OEM unlocking is grey out. This signifies that the bootloader has been unlocked and we are now good to go ahead with the second step. So now that is done, you will have to install the TroubleCheck app and make sure that your app supports Project Treble, and that moreover the CPU architecture should be 64-bit. Most of the Android phone nowadays are 64-bit, so that shouldn't be a cause of concern. Now you will have to install the Shizuku app from Play Store or GitHub. So let's proceed ahead and install that app as well. So this is the app. Let me enable install from unknown sources and install the Shizuku app. And now we will have to set up the Shizuku app. So let me show you how that could be done. Launch the app. Now under start via wireless debugging. Okay, before that, let's enable USB debugging first, or rather the developer option. So go to settings, about phone, and under about phone, go to software information and now tap on build number 7 times. This will enable developer option. Once that is done, you could now launch the Shizuku app and tap on pairing under start via wireless debugging. Then tap on notification option, enable the toggle next to allow notifications and make sure to checkmark allow sound and vibration, and all these three should be selected. Once that is done, go back to the app and now tap on developer option. Then scroll down and tap on enable the toggle next to wireless debugging. Now tap on wireless debugging and enable the toggle next to wireless debugging once again. Okay, you will also have to connect to Wi-Fi. So just give me a second. It should take just a few seconds. And once you have make a connection to Wi-Fi, you could go back to that page. So let me connect it and the connection has been established. So just tap on developer option, enable the toggle next to wireless debugging, tap on always allow, then tap on wireless debugging menu and tap on pair device with pairing code. You will now get a code. Type in this code in the Shizuku menu. As you could see, type it here and let's type the code, enter pairing code, which is 410587 in my case, and tap on send. And as you could see, pairing is now successful. So now go back to the app and again go back. Now tap on start under wireless debugging and Shizuku will now start. It will take a few seconds and leave it in that state and you will get automatically close in 3 seconds. So just wait for 3 seconds, and as you could see, Shizuku is running in ADB mode over here. So with this, we have installed Shizuku. Now your next course of action is to install the DSU SideLoader app. So let me show you that app as well. This is, you may install the app from GitHub. So download the app from GitHub and install it onto your phone as well. This is app release. Install the app. Tap on done, and now you will have to download the GSI. So as of now we are using the IODE OS. I will link this IODE OS GSI file. So download the file from here, and the file will be in the .exe format. So let me show you once. Let's go to the compress folder, and you will get the file in the .exe. This should be somewhat here. So what you have to do is install the 7-zip software, then right click on it, select show more option, 7-zip, and extract to iode.img, and you will then get an img file. So just give me a second, and this is the folder. Go inside there, copy the img file and transfer the img file inside your phone. So let's paste the file here. Or let's do one thing. First off, make a new folder on your phone. This will come in handy later on. So click on show more option, new folder, and name it GSI. And now transfer the GSI ROM inside this folder. This is extremely important. I'll show you why as well. Let's first transfer the file. So the GSI file by default will be in the .exe format. Simply you have to extract the .exe using the 7-zip, and you will get this folder. So copy the img file from here, then make a new folder on your phone by the name of GSI, and then transfer the file inside that folder. It will take a few seconds for the file to be transferred, and while that is happening, let's open our phone and let's open the DSU site loader app. So launch it, and it will ask for the Shizuku prompt. Tap on allow all the time, then tap on setup, and it will ask you to choose a folder from wherein you will place the GSI file. So in our case, the folder name is GSI. Select it and tap on use this folder and tap on allow. Once that is done, it might ask you for a few other permission. Tap on grant, and it will ask you to unlock the bootloader. So in our case, we have already unlocked the bootloader. If you haven't yet done so, then you may refer to my guide and unlock the bootloader using the fastboot command or whatever is the requirement. In case of Samsung, you will have to use the download mode, so you may unlock the bootloader. In our case, we have already done so. So now tap on proceed and wait for a few seconds for the file to be transferred. And with this, the file has now been transferred onto our phone. Let me verify it once. So this is the GSI folder which we have chosen, and this is the location where we have the ROM file as well. So now what you have to do is tap on select a file to be installed and choose the GSI file. Likewise, enable the toggle next to user data size and assign it up to around 10 GB in size. Once that is done, tap on install, then tap on proceed, and it will now start the installation process. Do keep in mind that the data partition for the GSI ROM will be completely different from the data partition of the current OS. In fact, as of now, you are doing a dual boot. So on one partition, you will be having the default One UI, whereas on the other partition, you will have the IODE GSI ROM. You could easily switch between both of these by doing a normal restart. So on one restart, you will be on the GSI ROM, whereas upon a subsequent restart, you will be back to the IODE OS ROM. Moreover, the data partition of both this ROM are different. So whatever files you have on the stock One UI will not be there on the GSI ROM. Likewise, whatever files and folder you have on the GSI ROM will not be there on the stock One UI. So keep this point in mind that the data partition are different for both these ROMs. And in case of GSI, we have given the data partition size of 10 GB. You may increase it if you want as well, but at the very least, give it at least 10 GB in size for the OS and all the data to be installed. With that said, this process might take up to around 5 to 6 minutes. So let's just wait for that to happen. So guys, once the installation is done, you will now get this prompt. So tap on allow one-time access, and it will now process the system partition, which will not take much longer. So it could take up to around a minute at the very max. So give it that much time, and then we'll be back. So guys, the flashing is now complete. As you could see, it's showing as successful. So expand the notification section, and you will get the DSU notification expanded. And now tap on restart, and with just a simple restart, your phone will now reboot into the newly flashed IODE OS GSI ROM. So give it a few seconds, and for the first time, the boot up might take up a little bit longer, but that's just a one-time delay. From the subsequent time, it will not take that much longer. So let's just wait. and it should only take a few more seconds for the phone to boot. So let's have a look at the boot animation, which will signify that the flashing has been done successfully, and it should just take a few more seconds. So let's keep a tab on the booting up, and as I've told you before, only the first time will take up a longer time frame. From the subsequent time, that will not be the case. So guys, as you could see, this is the boot animation of the ROM. So the flashing has been done successfully, and it should now boot to the OS in a matter of few seconds, and then we could set up the ROM as per the requirement. So give it a few more seconds, and then we will proceed ahead with the next step. And we are now inside the setup screen. So let me set up the ROM. As of now, I'm skipping the initial setup process and will take you to the OS directly. If you want, you may restore the data right now and connect your phone to the online Wi-Fi as well, but I am skipping all the stuffs. And let's hit the start button, and with this we are now inside the OS. And from here you may have a look at all the news sections and also things of the ROM, and tap on the home screen, and you are now inside the ROM. Let me increase the brightness. So this is the full brightness, I suppose. Anyways, as you could see, there are no Google apps. Instead of that, you have their GApps counterpart. You could use the F-Droid or Aurora Store as a Play Store, and use the GMS as the in place of the Google Play services. That might come in handy, and there are a few other apps as well. You may remove the news app or browser app as well if you want, and use any other app of your choice. Then, as you could see, there is not a single app from the One UI ecosystem. Whatever app is there is just for this ROM. And even let me show you, if you go to the gallery app, you will not see any file from the One UI. All these files are just with regard to this GSI ROM itself. And let me show you, if you take and screenshot over here. So we have just taken a screenshot and it has been saved. Now if you want to go back to the stock One UI, then simply expand the notification and tap on restart, and your phone will now reboot to the stock One UI ecosystem, and it will take just a few seconds for that to happen. So this is quite impressive. We don't have to flash the stock One UI via the Orin tool. You could simply just do a restart, and upon a restart you could go back to the One UI. Then again upon a restart you could go back to the GSI ROM, and so on. All that is required is just a simple reboot of the phone. Moreover, as I have told you before, the data partition are not shared. So I have just now taken a screenshot in the GSI ROM, and I'll show you that the same screenshot will not be shown here in the stock One UI, because the partitions are not shared. They both are different. So let's wait for the phone to boot to the OS, and then we will have a look at that as well. So you could keep one profile for work and the other profile for your personal usage as well if you want. That will come in quite handy. So let me open the phone and let's have a look at the gallery app. Let me launch it. As you could see, it does not have any photos whatsoever because the data partitions are not shared. Moreover, whatever screenshot or photo image you save here will not be there in that GSI ROM as well. So guys, this was all from this video on how you could carry out and install the IODE OS GSI ROM on your phone. Let me now show you a couple of features of this ROM as well, and the USP of this ROM. It is majorly focused on blocking trackers and ad blocking as well. So let me give you a hint of what exactly all these features of this ROM. So I have made a separate guide on this as well. You could refer to my guide. For example, these are all the features. It's transparent internet connection. So all the data and traffic data being transferred will be shown in real time, and you could keep a track of all the data packets that are being transferred. And you could also block unwanted data transmission using the blacklist. There is a long list of blacklists from the GitHub, and all these blacklist apps have been blacklisted. As you could see from here, all these types of apps have been blacklisted by default. You may remove them if you want, but that does not make any sense whatsoever. It has a built-in ad blocker as well, built-in parental controls, and these are all the apps that you could get hold of. You will get Micro G instead of the Google Play service. Anyways, let me go to the settings menu, and if you go to the PHA Treble settings, you could get hold of all the GSI ROM tweaks. This is the Samsung specific features. So these are the miscellaneous tweaks and the workarounds. Only use these advanced level tweaks if you know what you are doing, because it might lead to some additional extra issues. In case the display is not working on your phone, then go to Force FPS and choose 1080 at the rate of 60, and this will rectify the issue. Then restart the system UI and your task stands complete. Apart from that, all these are some advanced level tweak. And if the GSI, if you are using a Gcam, then you may also enable the Force Enable Camera to API. That should make the Gcam work quite well. Then a few customization tweaks such as the icon shape. Whatever you choose from here will be implemented in the app drawer, as you could see over here. Then icon pack, let's choose a few icons. Let me enable a few toggles first. Bluetooth, let me enable it through DND, aeroplane mode, auto rotate. And now you could keep a track from the top left. If I choose circular, as you could see, the change has been taken place. Likewise, this is for the Samsung. And we have the font family. There is one single font to choose from. And apart from that, it's the stock Pixel UI. You may choose a wallpaper and style. Go from here and change the wallpaper if you want. It has a few live wallpapers as well. That's quite great to see. Let me show you. As you could see in the background. Then you may choose on-device wallpaper. It has a bunch of on-device wallpapers too. So this is the default one. Likewise, you may also change the color and choose a different color UI UX of the OS as well from here. And you may enable or disable the dark theme and switch to the white theme. Then apart from that, you may change the icon and font, which we have done already. And if you go to the home screen, you could enable themed icon. And as you could see, it's enabled now. And you could also extend it to 5x5 or rather 6x6, which is quite great to see. But as of now, let me go with the 5x5 only, which looks nice. And that's just about it. It's a stock GSI ROM with not much features, a clean stock UI experience with no Google app as such. So guys, on that note, I round up this video. Okay, the last thing, if you want to remove this GSI ROM for good, then first and foremost, you will have to boot your phone to the One UI, and then from One UI, you will have to do a factory reset. That is the only way out. If you simply remove the GSI ROM file from your phone, from the phone memory, then this will only remove the file, but the storage will still be consumed. So in order to gain the 10 GB which we have given to this ROM, you will have to do a format data. If you don't do a format data and simply remove the GSI file from the GSI folder, you will not get that 10 GB back. So there is no other way out but to do a format data, which will wipe off all the data from your phone. And that is why I have told you in the beginning to take a backup of all the data on your phone. So guys, with that in mind, I round up this video. If you have any queries with regard to any of the steps, do let me know in the comment section. And thanks a lot for watching.